Welcome back to our After Dark show. I'm here with Mark and Chris, who's here to talk to me about 2 Point Hospital. But first, the usual spiel. If you have any questions, please make sure to ask us on Twitter with the hashtag After Dark. And if your question is asked on the stream, you have the chance of winning a brand new on a phone. Very snazzy. So let's jump it right into it. You have a delicious amount of 2 Point Hospital footage for us. So first of all, I guess, just tell us, our viewers, a little bit about the game.
So yeah, the game involved in building, running and maintaining a hospital.
Yeah, easy, right?
But with a twist.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what kind of things can players expect in their first kind of booting up the game? Going to be faced with like a derelict lot? Going to be doing some bits and bobs and making it spick and span?
No, so first you're introduced to a region on a map, and the map is 2 Point County, and there'll be subsequent regions that you'll visit through your journey through the world of 2 Point Hospital.
Mm-hmm. Is the aim to try and get you to a point where you own like multiple hospitals, you've got like a little kingdom of your own?
Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, you start off nice and simple,
yeah,
and by the end it's not so simple.
Not so simple.
Not so simple.
It would be fun though if it was simple, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go through the game and 1-star all the hospitals if you wanted to play it that way, but to get 2 and 3 stars is not easy.
Now, does it go up to 5 stars, or is it just 3 stars?
No, just
3
Just
stars.
3, yeah.
But we wanted this sort of balance between being sort of the more casual gamer could get into it, and, get some progress, a bit of satisfaction out of it. But we also wanted that sort of deep sim, management sim action that you could 3-star it. It takes a lot to
yeah.
to
the
do.
game that you can for sure pour hours and hours and hours into and get everything just right. Yeah. So obviously this is kind of a spiritual successor to Theme Park Hospital. What kind of things have you added to it and changed?
Well, I think the major thing is it's 20 years on from that title.
Yes.
We have 2 of the originators working with us, and it's got the fidelity obviously is much greater, but also the sort of inherent behaviours of all the characters, everything, all the details are sort of layered on. These people really do have an existence.
Yeah, that guy looks surprisingly like Freddie Mercury.
Allegedly
Looks similar to Freddie Mercury. Yeah.
I just noticed the nurse was looking through the window at them.
Was she actually?
Yeah.
That's not disturbing at all.
So that's another
There you go.
emergent
There you
behaviour.
go. I've not seen a nurse do that before.
No. So what kind of disease, ailment do these allegedly Freddie Mercury looking people have?
Well, they've just got this overriding will to dress up as Freddie Mercury.
I mean, I don't blame
allegedly.
them. Allegedly. I don't blame them. He was an icon.
Well, that's a psychiatric illness,
Yeah.
so that can be cured in the psychiatry department.
Yeah.
So that's one of the types of illnesses we've got.
Yeah. Psychiatry, you've got like the mimes that, are permanently trapped in a box or fighting against the wind or climbing an invisible ladder.
Oh, poor them.
Yeah.
Tragic, really.
Emperor's New Clothes.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting one.
Yes, exactly what you thought.
Yeah.
Exactly what you thought, yeah.
Yeah. They have got some clothing on. They've got shoes,
bow
and a
tie.
bow tie.
Oh, well, those are the
shoes.
important things, obviously, yeah.
But also their animations are totally different when they've got that illness, because they'll start lunging. And touching their toes right in front of everybody else.
Oh.
Just where you'd not want someone with no clothes on to be doing these things. And they always look really, really happy with themselves as well, which is quite sweet.
Nice. Well, if you find that nurse that looks through the window, maybe she'll enjoy it. She'll be up for that.
Quite possibly.
Yeah. So what other kinds of illnesses are there in 2 Point Hospital?
Well, there's kind of some of the visual illnesses are cured by these sort of incredibly complicated cure machines. We've got, one of them's guys or girls turned into a sort of cubist sort of painting.
Sounds painful.
Yeah, and basically they get through a mincer, reformed, baked, and come out cured, hopefully.
Lovely, yeah. So a great part of 2 Park Hospital looks to be those insane machines. So how did you come up with them?
Puns.
Puns.
The illnesses came from puns, or a visual idea that we kind of worked backwards from. So, for instance, lightheadedness, you know, I just thought, well, it'd be great to have, you know, the symbol of an idea is as a light bulb above somebody's head. Well, what about having a head as a light bulb?
How many doctors does it take to change a light bulb?
We kind of worked from those sort of, bad puns or a visual idea.
Yeah. So why make 2 Point Hospital now?
We just felt it was the right time. You know, we as a studio, we're quite a small studio, but we've got experience in making these types of games, and it just seemed like, you know, people want it.
Yeah, definitely. It looks great as well. It's gorgeous, like the kind of fidelity in that. So what have you done to try and make sure that you can clearly see each different section of your hospital?
Okay, so the visual style is purposely sort of soft, beveled. Okay, you know, quite the colouring is quite simplistic. So you know, can easily pick out, you know, with the layered on animations as well. You can easily pick out, you know, perhaps what a person's feeling, you know, the way they're behaving. So we always try to keep it simple. If it had been very noisy, I don't think, you know, you could have kind of lost what was going on.
Yeah. So what kind of challenges will players face when they get to the 2-star kind of level and they're trying to make it up to 3-star?
I mean, you're constantly given challenges, even at 1-star, which you can choose to ignore if you want to. Because some of the challenges you'll get, you just won't be ready. There's nothing you can do. You can accept them, but then you'll fail, and your reputation will decrease, and it won't be good for the hospital. So you're constantly given those challenges throughout the game, but the later levels you have more things like teaching hospitals, research hospitals. So that's how we're kind of switching up the gameplay. The regions obviously
the regions have an effect.
The gameplay quite a lot as well.
So, you know, the regions would have, you know, there'd be sort of warmer regions and colder regions, and, you know, the environment is affected by them. So, you know, all the patients will wear sort of, you know, cold weather clothes, but you'd have to be sensitive to the fact that, you know, you haven't heated the hospital.
Which would be important if it was cold.
And, you know, they get fed up and they leave. So, again, you lose, you know, revenue from that.
Just like real people. So with different regions, what else changes? Different diseases?
Yeah, you're introduced. Yeah, as you progress through, you're introduced to different diseases. So, you know, that's kind of like the surprise factor as well, because you're thinking, well, what are they going to throw at me now? You know,
bring it on.
What's the latest crazy thing they're going to throw at us?
So what stage can you get to with the diseases you're trying to cure? Like, can there be an epidemic or an outbreak of a certain flu?
Yeah, there can be a pandemic as well.
Pandemic?
A pandemic is loads of people with saucepans stuck on their head.
Oh, wow.
Should have guessed that, really.
I should have really. I walked into that one, didn't I?
Bad puns, is it?
Oh, great. I'm going to say they're great puns because we're on live TV, so I probably should. But yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Yeah. So what happens when your hospital gets flooded with people who all need curing? Like, what's the absolute worst case scenario? You're giggling, which worries me.
It's because I know I can visualise it. I've seen it.
Yeah.
For me, the funniest one is when everyone gets kind of vomiting and diarrhea.
Oh, wow. You've got a sophisticated sense of humour.
No, not really. No, but it's just funny to watch because it gets out of control so quickly, and your janitors are just desperately running around cleaning up.
Oh,
I won't say it.
People being sick in bins.
It's everywhere. It's just doing the wee dance.
So the wee dance.
Well, they're standing on the spot, kind of going, I can't, and then they just go. And it can escalate quite quickly.
Yeah.
And it is really, really unpleasant.
Your poor janitors.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, look at you smiling.
Sorry, no.
Yeah, of course.
No,
poor
that's
Ben,
dreadful.
Poor Ben.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your worst case scenario in 2 Point Hospital?
Oh, yeah. Just people dying all over the place.
I mean, that is the absolute worst thing that can happen,
I didn't think of that, actually.
People dying all over the place. You know, some of them turn into sort of, you know, ghostly apparitions and frighten everyone off. And
to horn the doctors that
if you haven't got a janitor that's got his dustbuster, you know, to hoover them up, then you're kind of in trouble as well.
One of the requirements of the job, pretty much, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So here we've got a new hospital. Looks like quite a big one. This is a 1-star hospital. So what kind of things do players have to do in such a large area like this to bring it up to scratch?
So that hospital actually is kind of derelict. You know, you've actually got to get it up to being a functioning hospital. You know, it's not. It's not looking too good. You know, there's lots of rubbish around.
Quite dirty.
So you've really got to sort of get on top of that. So your janitor staff and your maintenance staff are going to be really important for that.
So to start off with, are they your most important members of staff you should try and get in?
No, you've got to have a sort of balance. You've got to have, your receptionists, your admin people. It works in the same way. A hospital works. You go to the reception, the admin people. You get an appointment. You then get a doctor, and you get a diagnosis.
Oh,
and
it sounds so familiar. Yeah. So what happens if you run out of money while you're playing?
You can get a loan.
A loan?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not what I expected you to say, but interesting.
there's a deep sort of management sort of sim underneath this, and you can be financed by, yourself, or you can get a loan from another company, a rival company.
Yeah. So we have a question from Twitter, from Houseless Gamer, which is a somewhat worrying tag, but okay. Will 2 Point Hospital offer mod support? They ask.
At this present time, no.
Okay, right, cool. Short answer.
Yeah.
Good, okay. Moving swiftly on, we're now getting a receptionist, and bins are very important. When I used to play the game before this, Theme Park Hospital, I would always forget about bins. What happens if players forget something ever so small and slight? Does it have a big effect on the hospital?
It can do. It can do if it's an important thing, like with bins, for example. Cleanliness, obviously, in a hospital is relatively important. So if you don't put them down, initially you won't really notice anything because your janitors will pick up the slack. So you'll probably be okay for a while. But then there'll be a tipping point when your janitors have other responsibilities, they've got other things to do, and your hospital's cleanliness will just decrease rapidly.
It's not particularly good for hygiene and
it's
illnesses,
not. It's
it?
not.
Yeah.
And again, it can escalate very quickly.
Yeah.
But you can fix everything.
Yeah.
Everything is kind of fixable.
I love the fact that you're saying that with a giant smile on your face. Love it when things go wrong.
It's because I've done the animations for it. I know how funny it looks and how odd and how unsympathetic I do feel towards them. Just because it looks quite funny when they're struggling.
Care about them?
No, but I do care about them because I help them out, but they're doing it in quite a funny way.
Everything that you place down has an effect on the game. It can be quite a small effect. I mean, your example about the
coffee machine, yeah.
The coffee maker.
Yeah.
Tell me about the coffee maker. I think I want you to tell me about the coffee maker.
We have a little coffee maker that you can put in the GP's room.
Pretty normal.
And in between seeing patients, the doctor will wander around the room and interact with anything you put in there. Some of them are kind of quite funny. Yeah. Some of them are kind of ordinary, like looking out the window, but that will increase the doctor's happiness and calm them down. The Rubik's Cube, a wand.
A wand, amazing.
But the coffee maker, they'll kind of have a cup of coffee, and then they go hyper and go really fast and get a kind of energy buzz, and they're much more proactive, but
I have to take a break.
They might need more wheeze.
Oh no!
So
they crash.
Well, so there's you have to kind of balance what you want, whether you want them to have that boost to see more patients, then you have to have a toilet that's very near, so that they can get there quickly.
Yeah. Otherwise, your favourite thing happens and people start wetting themselves.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
Favourite thing. Yeah.
Exactly. Or they just bolt across the hospital.
Yeah.
That is their first thing. They will just run across the hospital straight into a toilet.
So how long does that hyper period last? Like, is it a technique you can use to try and get loads of people sorted out quickly if you're having a bit of a rush at the hospital?
I imagine you probably could.
Yeah. Moving a bit quicker.
Because
they would take more breaks.
Well, yeah. As Mark said, everything you put down
has an influence.
Yeah,
it can be quite subtle, but yeah.
It will help or hinder.
You're not placing anything that doesn't have an effect on the whole game.
Yeah. I mean, that's a slightly terrifying concept, but that everything matters. But no, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Some more subtle than others.
Yeah. What kind of tips do you have for new players then? Like, if you're coming to this game having not played the other one, then what tips would you offer them?
Just keep on top of it. I mean, you can play it in a sort of quite casual way, and every time a challenge comes in, you don't have to accept it. But as you get more experience, you're going to accept all those sort of epidemics that happen, because you realise that you're going to make more money out of it.
Yeah.
A lot more money.
And even sometimes you'll get a patient to wait because you haven't researched a particular cure yet. So I think it's just keep an eye on all those little people, see what their happiness is like, and see what the staff are up to as well.
So what kind of things affect happiness in the game then? Like windows you mentioned earlier, make doctors happy if they get to look out of them. What other things?
Plants, pictures.
Pictures.
It's all sorts of little things that you can place down that will affect. It's sort of prestige because you've got these sort of overlays you can see here. I think this is the heat one. There's a heat map. But
a heat map. So this is cooling
you get
it
one
down.
for kind of like prettiness, and so you can sort of place things around and go, oh yeah, well I've got a sea of, because it goes.
There you go.
That's the one.
So that's happiness,
That's
not oxygen.
No, that's the prettiness. You're pretty
You'd hope there's oxygen everywhere, really, in the hospital.
If there are any zones that don't have oxygen in a hospital, that's trouble.
Sealed yet, so.
Yeah. Great, fantastic. Well, 2 Point Hospital looks amazing. I can't wait to get stuck in and hopefully save as many lives as possible. And if not, just laugh at them wetting themselves in your favourite kind of epidemic. Thanks so much for talking to me about them.